Travel with Dave. Food safety. When you travel around the world, in many countries, for example, in the Philippines, there is not a high regard for the quality of food. And I'm going to use the example that I don't think they do food inspections in the Philippines for restaurants. So what happens is there's certain things that are going to happen that are going to impact the quality of food. Number one, if there's a power outage, they're not going to have power, so ice cream's going to melt and food is going to spoil, the chocolate's going to melt. So when the power comes back on and you say I'm going to go to the convenience store and get some ice cream, it's probably going to be melted. When they transport chicken, they go to the store with their car like a truck. They buy chicken fresh. They don't freeze it. They put it in a cardboard box. They drive it to where their restaurant is, and they carry the chicken, the fresh chicken, not frozen, into their establishment in a cardboard box. They're not in a hurry to put it in a refrigerator or a freezer. And they might not even wash the chicken. Motor oil is used as cooking oil. I had a friend who went to the gas station to dump his motor oil, and there's a guy there who waits for people to bring motor oil, and he takes it because they use it to cook instead of buying cooking oil. And it will make you sick. I used to get sick, and sometimes they would refry the food. If nobody buys the food, they fry it a second time. I didn't know why the food was darker colored. That's the reason why. And I would get sick if they gave me something that had been refried. There are animals, such as rats, that are going to be in restaurants, at hotels, and things like that. So one place I was at, they had a large trash can, plastic trash bin, filled with potato chips. And I didn't understand why until she opened it up and a rat climbed out. Because they go in and they eat the potato chips. So there's a lot of animals that will eat food, and you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know, like if you go to the market to buy fish, they catch the fish. That fish, till it gets to your house, it's not on ice, not frozen. Even if they've got a bin for putting ice in, they're not going to do it. Same with the chicken, pork, or anything else. You're going to get, when the animal's dead, it's not going to be frozen, cooled, chilled, or anything until you got it at your house. And people with restaurants, there's a lot of places that have no electricity. They're not putting their chicken in a refrigerator. So the place where I told you they refried the chicken, I got sick. They keep the chicken in like some sort of a plastic bin. And they open the bin and they take the chicken out, they put the flour on it, and then they cook it in the motor oil, and then you eat it. So, like I said, there's no electricity, there's no refrigerator. That is the way it's done. And you've heard of dry market and wet market. Dry market means rice and flour and grain. Wet market means chicken, beef, and you know what else? They don't have electricity. They don't have freezers and refrigerators, and they probably don't use ice because they want to save money. That's where people shop. All the restaurants go to those markets early in the morning to buy all of the produce, all of the meat, everything. So these are some of the issues you have to deal with. They're not going to have good sanitation. They're not going to have proper hygiene in the bathroom. Like there won't be toilet paper, for example. And they might not have a bucket, and they might not have a hose. You might be completely on your own. I carry paper with me on my motorcycle, just in case. You will occasionally get sick at restaurants. Um, when I go to the local chicken place, often, I'd say more than not, I think the food is not fresh. I think the chicken is not fresh. It has a little bit of an odor to it and a little bit of a taste to it that to me tells me it's not the freshest, and it's more likely to be borderline rancid than super fresh. Checking the time. So this is very common, and that's why they use spices. I'm going to use the example of McDonald's. If you buy a chicken nugget or chicken fillet breaded, they put a lot of spices in it, and the reason why is because they know it's going to sit out on the shelf for who knows how long. Because it's only supposed to be a half an hour or so, and they throw it away, but they keep it longer than a half an hour. So they spice it up so that you can't tell that it's gone stale. We have 7-Eleven here. It's the same thing. They spice up the chicken so you can't tell so much that it's gone stale. At the Burger King, where I would go to, they would put a lot of pepper on the Whoppers, and I was like, why are you putting pepper on the Whoppers? After a while, I was like, that's the reason why. We don't want the peppers, but it's because the burgers were cooked and not served. I worked at Burger King, cooked everything to order. Never had any waste. That's a proper way to do it. You can do it if you do it properly. So you have those issues. I'm sure you know with the tongs, you have to have two sets of tongs, one for raw meat, one for cooked meat. They might not adhere to that. You can get sick. People die or they become paralyzed because someone used tongs with raw meat to pick up cooked meat, and then you get the bacteria that is supposed to be cooked. Just so you know, the reason why we cook food is to kill the bacteria, or you freeze the food. It has to be cooked at like 190 degrees, and then you kill like 99% of the bacteria. So if they're not cooking the food, you're risking bacteria. Or if they're not freezing food, for example, fish, which would be tuna, salmon, etc., then you can get sick from parasites. That's how sushi is cooked. It's done by freezing the food. I thought it was a liquid. No, it is frozen food. That's why people in Alaska eat fish, because the fish is frozen, so it's safer to eat when it's frozen. Okay, so that's a little bit about what to expect health and safety wise at a restaurant or food establishment. I'm going to tell you that the grocery stores don't have high standards. A lot of the food, like dairy, they barely refrigerate it, or it's on minimum. Everything's on minimum settings. Often I buy ice cream. I thought it was melting on the motorcycle on my way home. It wasn't. It was because it's already melted in the freezer because they don't turn it down cold enough. I squeeze everything now before I buy it. My ice cream is pre-squeezed. Okay, so that's my opinion on the food. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.